What if the real reason you want to start a business isn't actually a calling? What if it's just tiredness? Because there's a difference between the two. And most people never stop to figure out which one they're dealing with, and that costs them everything. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly where you stand, and I promise you, the clarity that you'll get today will save you years of confusion. Let's dive in. I was doing some research and I came across a Pew Research Center report, and that report surprised me because it says that 60% of Americans are unsatisfied with their jobs. That's 6 out of 10 people at a desk clocking in and out and asking themselves the question, is this it? Listen, they're wearing this suit. They're going to corporate meetings, wondering themselves, is there all there is to life, to this life? And because of this, people immediately think, maybe this is the time for me to run a business. They start wondering if God is calling them to do something more. They start questioning everything. And I get it. I've been there. I believe that a lot of people who are watching this video have. But I want to be 100% brutally honest with you. Not everyone who is unhappy at work is called to entrepreneurship. Some people are called to different roles, different companies, different cultures, different careers. How do I know this? This is exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm going to share with you a few pointers that are going to help you determine whether you're truly called to run a business or change to a better job or career opportunity. Point number 1, calling is not what you think. Calling is not what you think. Before anything else, we have to be 100% clear about this, that calling is not your purpose. Purpose is the why behind everything you do. Calling, on the other hand, is the what. It's the specific assignment that God places in your life for a specific season. Just think about this for just a second. The greatest example of calling is in the Bible. I think we all know it. Moses was called to liberate people out of Egypt, not to be a professional liberator for his entire life. We know Moses for that one thing, when God appointed for such a time as that, to be able to free people out of Egypt, and God gave him such a great support, he parted the seas and people crossed on their way to freedom. But that event in life happened only once. It didn't happen every day. You know, that the parted sea did not become the ferry. It was just a one-time occasion. So when you're sitting at a job feeling restless, the real question shouldn't be, what is the purpose, the great purpose that you have for me? Just like we painted the picture with Moses. But instead ask, God, what is my assignment for the next season? That's a much more honest request that will lead to a clear, much clearer answer. Now, there's a huge distinction that you must know, because this distinction can free you from unnecessary pressures that you may be carrying right now. There are 2 kinds of people in every organization. The first one is what I call people with enterprising spirit. These are the go-getters. These are the sharp people, resourceful, driven. They can walk into the room and gauge what's going on. They can fix broken systems, lead teams, manage budgets, optimize operations, you name it. It may sound like you. It may sound like you. These are your VPs, your CEOs, COOs, your CMOs, the CEOs, mid-level managers, supervisors. They operate like entrepreneurs, but they belong inside a structure, such as a corporate or any government institution. I like to call them the pillars. These are the pillars that make an organization great. But the second type is what I call people with the entrepreneurial spirit. So we have somebody with the enterprising spirit, but then we have people with the entrepreneurial spirit. They overlap, but they are different, because people with the entrepreneurial spirit are people who just don't want to improve a system. They want to build something from scratch. They're not wired for a lane. They're wired to create the road, to pave the road. They're willing to carry the full cost of failure, of uncertainty, of fear, of doubt, of anything that might be hindering them to move forward. So here's the thing. Both types are gifted. Like I said a few seconds ago, they overlap in attributes. They're necessary. They can be called by God. But anyone who is called to start a business has the spirit of an entrepreneur. So the question that I ask you is, which one are you? And I don't want you to answer this question yet. I want you to actually to let that sink in for a second, for a few days. Because the second part that I'm about to share with you has to do with giving you a test that makes this so obvious. So, if you're enjoying the content that you're watching so far, please like the video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel. It's going to help us grow and it's going to push this to more people that need to hear it. Okay, so let's go over the test. The test is what I call the root cause test. The root cause test. Now, before you quit your job, before you write a business plan, before you do anything, you need to answer this honest question. What is actually making me unhappy right now? Ask that question. Very, very honest and deep question. What is actually causing my unhappiness right now? It could be something related to your job. It could be a stress at home that you need to address. It could be something else, but if it's job related, the satisfaction can come from three things generally, okay? Only you can answer that question, but I'm just gonna give you the general ones. The first one is culture. Culture. Maybe the company has changed. Maybe you outgrown the company. The environment no longer fits who you are. Everything was so great until it wasn't. The values don't align with you. Management doesn't fit you. Maybe they changed managers and you're unhappy with the new manager. You wake up walking into a place that doesn't feel like you. And if that's you, ask yourself, is it the work I hate or just environment? Because if you love what you do, but you hate where you're at right now, that's not a business calling. That's a sign, a strong sign that you need to shift to another company that aligns with you. Number two, payment. You're excellent at what you're doing. You are killing it. You are like typing so quick. I don't know. You're programming like a boss. You're the great lawyer that's getting great results. I don't know. Maybe you're the great manager that everybody looks up to. And so you're happy and you hear that little voice inside your head that says, check Glassdoor, check Glassdoor. And so you go in and you see the competition and they're paying 20% more for your same position. And you're like, what the heck? So you bring it to your boss and nothing happens. In that inference, you should really ask yourself, am I unhappy with what I'm doing? Or is it that I'm not being compensated fairly? Because if you're not being compensated fairly, that's your answer. That's perhaps a negotiation that you need to have that you haven't had yet. Or it's time to spread your wings and fly away to the neighbor's nest. Number three, the role. The role. The role. Maybe you've outgrown it. Maybe you've been doing this for 15, 16 years. You're the pro, but you don't want to be the pro any longer. What you're doing doesn't align with you. You want to do something different. You want to breathe a fresh air, have a new function, a new field, a new way to use your gifts that God has given you. Maybe you accidentally found that you're gifted at something else and you've been doing this corporate job which does not really go with you, but you've been doing it because you've been trying to pay the bills and you've been trying to be responsible. If that's the case, the question that I have for you is, do you want to build something or do you want to do something different? Because there's a huge distinction between the two. See, a lot of people confuse, I am ready for a new challenge with, I am called to start a company. And that confusion can be very expensive. And let me tell you why. Because when you're embracing a new skill set, the learning curve is very steep and you have to deal with the learning curve. And when you put that along with running a business, that's going up the hill, carrying probably like 60 pounds on you. And so maybe it's time for you to learn that skill set and then realize whether you want to open a business or not. So fundamentally, what you need to do is you need to address the root cause of what's driving that unhappiness. Because when you do so, it will give you clarity on whether you should start something from scratch or not. And I mentioned a lot of things right now. I mentioned culture, pay, and role. Now, maybe you looked at everything and the job is solid, the money is decent, the team is great, you're having a great time, but you still want to do something of your own. You still want to be the captain of your boat. And if that's you, that right there is something very different and worth paying attention to, because that may be God's way or sign that He's calling you to start your own thing. But before you take that leap, I need you to count the cost, because running a business is not what a lot of people think. It's not as glamorous. If you're thinking about opening a business, this is not going to be the 9 to 5. Maybe in the future, but at the beginning, you have to count the cost. There's no calling in sick. There's no somebody else covering your shift. There's no, oh, I'm going to take this vacation for this time. If something breaks, you got to fix it. If somebody's not showing up, you got to show up. If the seat is empty, you got to fill it. And if the business is not growing, that might be because of you. It means that you need to grow something within you to help that organization grow. You may have to grow the skill set of leading a company. And if you're a technician, you have to have a growing aptitude. And let me tell you, all of what I'm telling you right now, it's very difficult to address, because nobody wants to talk about negativity in a video. And I don't think this is negative. I'm just trying to be real with you, that in the first 2 to 3 years, you're going to be underwater. You may not be making what you're making in your glamorous job. You're going to have to face rejections. You're going to have so many moments of doubt, and you're going to question yourself, is this it? Am I supposed to do this? This right here is counting the cost, and you got to be okay with all of this. So ask yourself honestly, am I willing to count the cost? Not just the highlight reel, but the full weight of it. And if the answer is yes, I mean a real yes, not a temporary motivated yes because you wanna way out, then keep going, run. And I know this was very tough to address, but I love you enough to see you succeed. I want you to succeed, whether it's running a business or just growing your entrepreneurial spirit, or whether it's doing something else beyond work. I want you to enjoy your life. But if you are confident that you want to be an entrepreneur, the question that you might have right now is, what should you do if you're called to run a business, but you're afraid? Because fear is what pulls people back. This video on the screen goes over the step-by-step process of what to do to figure that out. Make sure you watch it. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. It helps the channel grow and reach to more people that need to hear this. And if you haven't subscribed, do so. A lot of people are watching these videos, but they're not subscribers. If you enjoy the content, help us and join our Faith Meets Business community today.